Hi, this is Nancy with On Point TV, and we are ready to continue our series of Quilt As You Go, block by block. So I just want to do a little bit of review, but know that there are already 2 videos done. One of them takes you through a whole series. I show you a whole bunch of quilts that I've made. And the second one is where I show you how to properly cut your sashings. Remember, there is a proper way and there is an improper way. So no matter what quilt you're doing, if you're putting sashings on it, I highly recommend that you go to the link right below and it'll have that video on the sashings. So to the Quilt As You Go, these are the quilted tile blocks that we also did an entire series on, so you can go back to the On Point TV on the YouTube channel and find how we actually designed and made these blocks. These are all finished now, and I want to show you that this is the one where I've already done the quilting. I've already added the sashings here, and so it's ready for its borders. So we will bring this quilt back out in a little bit when we're ready to add the borders. So I'm going to move this out of the way. The next one is the one that I called my Dutch tile. So that first one I called I can't remember what I called it. Maybe Mediterranean, Moroccan tiles. I've never been to Morocco, but they looked Morocco-y-ish to me. So these are the Dutch tiles. I have been to the Netherlands. So these are kind of a traditional blue and yellow. Again, the quilted tile designs, those are actually all available for download on the On Point TV website for free. So you can go to the On Point TV website to shop and find all of these designs. So if you don't want to make your own, you could do any of these free download right on our website. So these are the ones that I'm going to do the block by block and the putting the rows together. So this top section, we already have the row done, and these are ones we're going to do for putting the blocks together. So now I'm going to move these out of the way and show you the one that we'll do the first steps with. Whoops. There. Nope, I picked up one too many. All right, so these are the blocks that we're going to do the applique quilting and the quilting on. So these blocks are approximately, all of them have been about 18 inches. These ones are my Greek blocks. I had bought some Greek tiles when I was in Greece, and these are representations of those, so that's where I got that idea from. I do want to point out a couple of things. We did the sashing in the last one. So the sashing is all done, putting on the sashings, but I want to take you through kind of a little bit of a step-by-step of how that happened. Now that you have your sashings all cut, it's important to know how to assemble them to each block. So again, I mentioned this last time. This is the book by Beth Donaldson. Beth Donaldson's book is called Block by Block. I want you to remember, because I've had some people already say that they bought this one and the one with the blue cover. It is the same exact book. This book and then the one with the new cover with the blue cover are the same book. So you don't need to buy both of them. They are not currently in print, so you would have to find them on some used bookstores, but it is an exceptional book. I want to take us to today what she talks about doing the sashings. This book, the Machine Quilting in Sections by Marti Michell, is a current book. We will be using this book for putting on the border, so we're going to set this one to the side for now. So in Beth's book, the beginning part is all about different blocks and how to do the quilting and some cool designs. Really, really good information. But this is probably the most important page in the whole book. This tells you where to put your sashings on the block. So I have taken this and have drawn it a little bit bigger here. So for our quilt, because there's only 4 blocks, we have the first block, second block, third and fourth. All right. On the first block, you will put sashings and cornerstones around the entire block. On the second block, you will only put sashings on the top, right, and bottom side. Same thing is true with the third block, but if your blocks have an orientation, you want to be sure that the orientation is correct because you will put the sashings on the left, the bottom, and the right side. And the fourth block gets only 2 sashings on the bottom and the right. And again, if your blocks have an orientation, you need to keep that in mind. When we go to the quilting, we'll talk a little bit more about where you do quilting and where you do not do quilting. It's very, very important to know. So we have our blocks, and here's Beth's information on all of that because she takes you through if you're doing a really, really big quilt, which would be really fun to do. So on the blocks that we have, I have prepared the first block. So this is block number 1. Block number 1 has sashings going all the way around it. So please ignore that I've got this basted right now. We're going to take you through that in a little bit. But this is block number 1 with the sashings completely around it. The next is block number 2. Again, block number 2 has it only on 3 of the sides. Block number 4 only on 3 of the sides, but remember, if your block has an orientation, you need to pay very close attention to where is the top of the quilt, okay? So this is the fourth one, and the fourth block only has sashing on the right hand and the bottom side of the entire block. Next, I'm going to talk to you about how to baste these quilts. One thing to know when you're choosing the backing fabric for any Quilt As You Go project is it is important to pick a fabric with a busy print and maybe a few colors or a lot of different shades in that. When you do that, it will be so much less obvious that it's a Quilt As You Go. So for instance, on the first quilt that I made, this is the backing. I don't know if you can see very well, but this is the seam right here. My intention is that you wouldn't be able to see it very well. That's why I chose this backing. I want a backing that you're not really going to be able to notice from afar that it actually is a pieced backing, that you really can't see the quilting and the applique quilting that is going on with that. So this is one really great backing. I love this one. Here's another one. This is a fabulous backing. So this is the one that is the back for the Dutch tiles. This one, really, really busy backing in some blues and yellows. You can barely see the stitching. Even when I'm this close, I really can't see the stitching. The quilt that we're working on now, this is the backing fabric that I've chosen. A lot of different colors, a lot of smaller prints going over it so that you won't really be able to see the stitching on the back of the quilt. I need to now show you how to cut the backing and border fabrics for the back of your block by block quilt. So we've chosen the proper fabric for your backing. Now you need to know what size to cut those backings. And this is a little bit of a process, so please try to follow me and I'll go very slow, okay? So these are the blocks, and we have our sashings attached to our blocks going all the way around. Keep in mind, my blocks are I think about 18 inches, and I've added a 4-inch sashing to them. I need to cut the backing and the batting 2 inches bigger all the way around. So for instance, on this first block, if it's an 18-inch block with 2 4-inch sashings, that means that that is going to be a 36-inch block. So 18-inch here. No, I did my math wrong. 18-inch block plus 4 inches is 22, plus 4 inches is 26. 26 inches. That means my backing and batting for that block needs to be cut 4 inches larger, which is 30. So 18, 4, 4, that's 26, plus 2, 28, plus 2 more is going to be 30. On the next block, the height of it will be the same, so you'll have a 30-inch height, but this distance is minus 1 sashing, so that's only 26 inches. Block number 3 is the same, a 30 by 26 inch backing and batting, and the side block is the smallest, so you would only need a 26 inch. But remember, this totally depends on your block size. So you decide your block, you decide the size of sashings that you're going to put on, and then you will add the 2 inches all the way around. So working on this block, I hope I got, well, I did do my math a little bit off, so I think my block wasn't 18. It must have been 16. So this is how I've got it figured. So let me look here again. My number 1 block actually was only 24 inches, so I need to cut a backing and batting that's 28. My number 2 block needs to be cut 28 by 24. My number 3 backing and batting, again, 28 by 24. And my 4th block, only 24 by 24. So when you think about the backing fabric, if you will cut or tear, I'm going to show you how to do that, a 28-inch section out of that backing first, and then cut that into the size segments that you need for each block. That leaves you, in this case, a 14-inch section. Yep, a 14-inch section on the bottom. We will divide that by 2 and save that for our borders. So I'm going to cut the borders 7 inches wide, and this will be 100 inches, which will make it perfect for the top and the bottom of the borders. And then for the side borders, we'll cut a 72-inch by 7-inch border. So we're going to do that right now. I've got my fabric here. This is the fabric that I'm going to use for my side borders, and I'm going to show you how I do the tearing of that. So first of all, I need 70 inches. So let me use my big measuring here. There's 40. This will be 70. I'm going to always give myself a little bit of extra room because, you know, boo-boos happen. Cut this. Stash this away. Here is the backings. These are the side, top and bottom borders that I've already torn. So now I'm going to take this, and this needs to be cut into 2 7-inch wide borders. And the best way to cut borders, the backing or otherwise, is always length of grain. So I'm going to take it from 7 inches from the sashing. So here's the sashing, which is a little over a 1/2 inch, and there's 7 inches. Just start myself a little nip, then measure another 7 inches. And now I can rip it. Ripping is always going to be the only way to get a perfectly straight line. And then one more. This piece will just be left for another quilt. I do like to take off these little strands that kind of are the only thing that's left. But what I love is that this edge will no longer fray. Now it does distort the fabric. I'm going to try and get that really close. Do you see how it distorts the fabric just a little bit? I've never had a fabric that distorted more than 1/4 inch, so I don't worry about it. I'm okay with that. My seams are going to be 1/4 inch, so it doesn't matter to me that if it distorts less than 1/4. And then I'll take these extra strings off this, and then I will press this all straight and get this ready for our side backings. Now it's time for the batting. Your battings need to be cut the same size. So you will need the 28-inch batting, the 28-inch square for your big one. But I just want to take you through a couple of tips. This is 4 layers of batting, which is usually what I'm going to do. It's almost impossible to take that batting, that big chunk of batting, and spread it all out and try to cut the squares that you need. So I'll always take that batting and I'll unfold it. So this is a warm and natural batting. I'll take it out of the package, unfold it down to its skinniest part, and then cut rather large chunks out of it. And to do that, you need the proper tool. The proper tool for doing that is the 60mm OmniGrid. This guy is the only guy that can go through 8 layers of batting. So this is the cutter that you need to have if you want to be a serious block by block kind of a quilter. So I'm going to show you this. I'm going to fold this This is going to be 8 layers of batting. Oh, I should mention that with Quilt As You Go, I almost always will use a cotton or a cotton blend. I don't use a wool for a Quilt As You Go because it's just too fluffy, and I definitely wouldn't use a polyester. Having said that, I never use a polyester for anything. I am a anti-polyester kind of a quilter. So this is for these Quilt As You Go's that I do, it's always going to be a cotton or a cotton blend. But this is 8 layers. With this ruler laid down and this rotary cutter, I can cut through, ooh, just missed right there on the edge. 8 layers of batting. So could I have laid it out so that there weren't as many layers? I could, but boy, if you get a rotary cutter like this, you're golden. You're going to be able to cut through all of those battings. So when we come back, I'm going to show you how to baste the blocks together. To do the basting of the blocks, it's really just a smaller version of when I baste an entire quilt. Now keep in mind with smaller blocks, you could do it a different way if you want, but this works really great on these larger blocks. So first I'm going to use some of the blue tape. This is the blue painter's tape that you can find at Lowe's or any of those like hardware kind of stores where they sell paint, because it's painter's tape. And I'm going to stick this down on all 4 sides. And I just want it to stay put. Next, I'm going to take my 505 basting spray. Now, this has always been my preferred basting spray. I've been using it for a long time. Keep in mind, the instructions say you should be using this in a well-ventilated room. And there, you know, just be careful of that kind of stuff. Yeah, I've never been in a well-ventilated room in my entire quilting career. So I have basted many a quilt in my studio, and I've just not died yet. So I think I'm going to be okay. But the idea is to not overspray. So I'm going to try and spray so I'm not spraying right at the camera. But this is how much I spray. Done. That's all. All right, I think there might be a little bit of a haze going on, but not so much that anybody's going to faint in the process of recording this. Now I'm going to take my batting, and I like to take the batting and fold it in half just because it makes it easier to handle. Then I'm going to lay it down on the edge because remember the batting and the backing are both cut the exact same size. And then that will stick down onto the batting, and I want to try and smooth it out as best I can. There we go. And you can see that it actually has stickiness to it. So it's not so sticky that I couldn't pick it up and move it again if I wanted to. Now I'm going to do a little bit more basting on top of that. And then my quilt top. Again, I'll take the quilt top, or the square block top rather, fold it in half. And then I've cut this 2 inches bigger all the way around. So I'm going to eye it and give myself a couple of inches on each side and lay it down. I do want to make sure that my sashings are as straight as possible, so just like the borders on a quilt. There you go, it's basted. For a quilt block like this, I will not do any pinning or anything like that. It's just not necessary. So that is the review on how to put your backing and batting onto your quilt, where to put your sashings. When we come back next time, we will start the quilting and the quilting of these blocks to get them ready for the block by block process. In some subsequent shows coming up, we will be putting the blocks together. So we've got quite a few shows to go. But remember, you can review the past videos, so on how to make the quilted tiles, how to put the sashing, cut your sashings, all of that is there. On our YouTube channel are a lot of other videos too. I think we're up to maybe 210 videos at this point. There's a lot to review there, and a good portion of those are the Learning to Quilt book. So the Learning to Quilt book is a book that I wrote that takes you through the complete step-by-step process from beginning to end on making a quilt, and all of the videos go right along with it. So please visit our website, OnPoint-TV. Go to the shop section. You'll find the free designs for all of these quilted tiles and the place to buy the book and my fun pincushion. We'll see you soon.